Do the chicken. Do the chicken. Do the chicken. Do the chicken.
Which chicken? Who? I think you're the chicken at some point.
Yeah, maybe in like a previous life I was like a chicken,
Maybe
and now
that
I'm just
would
trying to manifest again, as my natural
that would
feathery
really
self.
yes, that would really explain a lot. And with that, hi and welcome to a new episode of Unresolved Dependencies podcast. My name is Seb, and with me I have Joe today. And yeah, you seem to be in a place where internet is not your favorite thing, right? So how's it going? I mean, you're
Yeah,
not
this is
at
going to
home.
be interesting. I'm in a Yeah, surprisingly, I'm not at home. I mean, who would have guessed that, Yeah, I'm in a hotel room currently in Cologne, but the hotel Wi-Fi has not been too great, so I'm currently hotspotting. But yeah,
Mhm.
we may need to re-record this whole episode. Who knows? But let's pray
Whoever
that
will
our
see
very
that,
nice.
let's see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we've got StreamYard here. We should be recording things locally. So yeah, let's just YOLO. Hope for the best.
Let's see how good this works today. So, if you ever hear this or see that on YouTube, then very appreciated. If not, then maybe this will never be see the sunlights. With that, yeah, I think last time we talked about at Color Cloud, we were in person. Today, more back to the old setup with Joe traveling, me at home, actually reporting from like on vacation. So I'm literally had a day off today, and I have the whole week off. So I'm very nice, very
This is
very
how committed you are.
fortunate
This is how committed you are to this whole endeavor. I really appreciate
to
that.
the podcast, not to my work. All right.
Yeah, work is just forget about work. Podcast, yeah, got to focus on podcast.
Of
Number one
course,
priority.
it's not that my work is paying the bills, but yeah. No, actually, I thought I didn't have any major appointments or things this week, so I took some vacation. Turns out there's a podcast to record. There's like a 3 hour meeting right after this, just for me to sit there and explaining to my girlfriend, like, yeah, I have to work.
Oh, I
But
can
yeah,
top that. I can top that. I've got a 4-hour meeting after this, and it's supposed to be a
oh,
bank holiday in the UK today. So yeah, so
oh,
take your
nice.
3-hour meeting and just get
Yeah,
out my face.
just vanish in your self disbelief with like this little rookie thingy over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, you're traveling, so I think you already spoiled a little bit where you are at the moment. Maybe people can guess literally why are you traveling, because I think there is an
Oh yeah,
explanation with
I've
that.
spoiled that answer. So that was actually going to be my answer to the question. My question today: where am I traveling to next? So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
going to have to think very carefully
that's
about.
fine.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, but
Eh,
I can think of a new clue because I know eventually where I'm going to be going, so I can make up something on the spot. But yeah, for those of you who are interested in the previous answers, we didn't get around to them during episode 4. The inbox has been overflowing. Literally, we had to go and clear down all the emails, so the responses have been hot. We didn't get any responses because
We literally had to buy more storage to get
literally
more
had to
new
buy more.
emails in. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
So clearly, this
so
feature.
so heavily that was used. Yeah.
Exactly. But
Mhm.
we remain hopeful. So if you are interested in getting involved, it's hello@unresolveddependencies.com. Guess where I'm going to be next? And we may give you a nice little shout out on the episode. And there's also some vague promises of us ordering some merch and sending it out to you at some point. So
Yeah,
I'm
at
sure
least
with
we need to do
both of
some
that,
stickers, right? Yeah, with like our
yeah,
growing viewer and listener people community, we definitely need to see like how what we can do on the beloved sticker game across the community to as well supply our fans and regular listeners, because it's already episode 5, so it's close to be serious right now.
exactly. So if you're sold by those vague promises, you know what to do. Email hello@resource-dependencies to get your clue. So the answer for episode 1 was York in the UK, also known as Jorvik, back in the days of the
Mhm.
Vikings, hence the clue there. The second clue was Hamburg, the most colourful event. Colour Cloud, obviously, if you've been regularly listening
Oh,
there.
I was there. I was there.
You
It
were there,
was
yeah. So,
yeah,
yeah,
nice event, very great. But
sure enough.
let's not talk about this one again. Let,
Exactly.
let's give it a year to settle.
Exactly, yeah. And then the third clue was, the third answer was Munich, was where I was next. We had a lovely event down there in Munich, so always nice to be there. And then the answer to the fourth.
Fun fact, we spent the whole week together and didn't manage to record an episode in person in Munich.
I think by that point we were probably so sick of each other that we just thought, okay,
Yeah,
let's just
I think as well. I think this was too much of healthy friendship in like 2 less days. So the amount of like hours and minutes and days seeing and talking to each other perhaps has a limit. So we want to be it's not just kidding. No, I think I was just busy with like generating or like preparing like so many demos that I think there was no time in between. So
yeah, I'm surprised you survived.
There's still a friendship here.
There is. We're still.
There
I
is.
mean, this podcast is the only reason. Is our genuine effort to keep this friendship going. You know. So what can we say? So yeah. So answer.
We're trying. We're trying.
We're trying. We're trying so hard. Yeah. So the answer was Munich for the third set of clues. Fourth set of clues. The answer was London. Jelly Deals, a popular dish there. Trotter is from the famous UK sitcom Only Fools and Horses. So yeah, definitely would recommend you watch that if you at least understand something about the UK. Quite hilarious there. And then we've got our clue for today. So the next city I'm going to be in is famous for its gingerbread, famous for toys, and also famous for being the seat of the Holy Roman Emperors back in the medieval age. What city am I going to be in next? Send your answer through to hello@unresolveddependencies.com. And yeah, we will give you a shout out and maybe some vague promises of merch as well.
I see. I know your traveling schedule because I'm a very informed human being, and I know where you're going to, so I don't want to spoil that. But actually, so how long will you stay in this medieval nature of a beauty of a city? Because I think we're traveling somewhere together, right?
We are. We've got a internal event that we're sort of traveling on, but yeah, I'll be there for maybe about sort of 4 or 5 days before that.
Oh, okay. So you're there all week.
Yeah, so the plan is I'm going to head down rather than heading back to the UK and then flying out again. I'm going to do a nice little road trip here from Cologne down to Nuremberg. So that should be quite fun.
So you're telling me you're skipping the flight, which you could get some more extra miles and more lounge tickets and more upgrades to just explore German Autobahn?
Pretty much, yeah. So I've traded all that nice, lovely in-flight food, all that lounge food for driving across Germany. So I must be insane. Clearly, I must be insane.
Our impact on this on this guy is so much. So you really need to keep this going to not make him a hostile of Lufthansa and British Airways.
And all that stuff. But speaking of lounge food, the question on everyone's lips, I'm sure, is okay. What has Sebastian been eating since last time? So do please tell the world.
Yeah, basically I haven't snapped a picture this time, so I will upload something on our Instagram channel for that. It's not something I cooked because my girlfriend decided to cook something, and I had a long day at the office, so I already had to commute like an hour back to our place, and so she decided to surprise me with some fried rice. With some Asian vegetables, and as well some steak on top of it. So very nice. And I think there was a fried egg involved as well, somewhere in between that kind of delicious meal. So that was very nice. And as well, it's was a nice surprise because she didn't told me about this and just for I just wanted to have steak. So I thought what could be nice with it, and she thought like Seth will be happy with that, and right she was. So yeah, fried rice with egg and steak was the last of the meals I enjoyed. So this would Dave definitely ranks very high on the list, even though I had some critiques on the steaks, but like we keep this private to not disturb the relationship more.
Yeah, I mean that could literally, break up an entire relationship.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
oh yeah,
But
it was a medium rare rather than medium. It's
it was rather medium than medium rare. I think this was
okay.
she doesn't like it like any kind of pinkish, but I'm a sucker for this one. So I really like it if it's like medium rare and more rare than medium. So yeah. but yeah, for next time we will figure something out, because maybe for next time I already do have my barbecue. So let's see.
Yes, German and
Updates
his
of
grill must never
flying.
be. German and his grill must never be sort of torn apart. So
No, yeah. All right. But yeah, with me being on vacation, it's not like that I just sit down and play with the dogs. It's also me putting some work on in the house. So the updates are flying, and I hope as well we will see some delicious barbecue made meal soon, so that I can get my hands on this one. Well, let's see. Will still take some weeks, because first there is so much other work to do. Depending on talking about other work. So I know from Joey that you're an MVP, so Microsoft Most Valuable Professional, but also you put in more work on the side besides just being an MVP and contributing to this beautiful community with your presence at every community event out there. You're also something that's called an MCT, right? And we just had it like a few days ago, where why is he doing all of the certifications again? And I thought, like, what is going on? Should I do more certifications? Because I'm really not that motivated in terms of doing certifications. But maybe you can tell us a bit more about what is an MCT? So not MVP, but MCT. And why do you do so many certifications? And how many do you have?
yeah, so it might surprise this audience that, okay, yeah, I do actually have a job. I do actually work. I don't just spend all of my
You have
life
a
attending
job.
these conferences. Yeah,
I think like attending a conference is your job, is your day-to-day business.
No. I actually have a real job which requires me to work and focus and actually, actually brings money in. I mean,
Who's that guy?
I know this is going to break everyone's reality, and there's going to be people screaming in the streets and all this sort of stuff. But yeah, just to set the scene there very clearly.
I think newspapers are out already. So
exactly.
This is like Anders near scene from The Simpsons. Yeah,
exactly.
This is going on right now on the streets. Yeah.
It's crazy, but yeah. So I do actually have a job, and one part of my job is doing training quite a bit. So customer training for various different sort of organizations and things like that. And to be a trainer in our sort of world, it helps to be what's referred to as a Microsoft certified trainer, or an MCT. So that basically is kind of like an official kind of blessing from Microsoft in terms of, okay, you have met sort of minimum requirements in terms of certifications being held. You've gone through kind of a bit of a thorough assessment or training, but I'll get back to my own experience on that one and give you my thoughts on that. And then after you've done that, you can then go and deliver these courses. So if, for example, you are looking to sit an exam, maybe, for example, the PL400 Power Platform Developer exam, one of the things that you can go and do is a Microsoft official course. And one of those Microsoft official courses will get you prepared for the exam. And it might be that you have someone like me there as your kind of sort of trainer. So one of the reasons why I do so many certifications is, well, number one, in order to be able to teach the course, you need to have the relevant certification to give you that kind of credibility when teaching things. So I think at the moment I've got about close to 50 certifications.
Oh, really?
Some of those might be inactive. Yeah. So, I'm just like,
50.
I'm just like, okay, I saw what Thanos was doing. I was like, screw that. I'm going to go the extra mile, and I'm just going to collect, all of these exams, because,
all of the certifications.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So
crazy. 50. I have like 8 or so. just in a comparison, I have like, and 8 is already something where I'm super proud of, and he's like 15.
Yeah, certifications get a bit of a mixed review, should we say. In our world, they're very sort of important because if you're working in the partner space, it's one of the ways that Microsoft kind of validates your sort of status, and means that you can get these nice shiny badges and solution destinations, all this sort of good stuff. I found the exam route quite useful in the early days as well, in terms of I was trying to get more into the industry. And having a few exams under my belt, talking about the fact that I'd gone and taken those exams, I'd spent my spare time, in some cases my own money, actually going and sitting those exams. It was quite a useful thing to me, for me to kind of weave into like a interview sort of scenario, and to maybe hopefully demonstrate to, you know, an employer, okay, look, I am serious about this, you know, I've done all of this type stuff. So
you're certificated your way up to the top, basically, from
I dressed for the job that I wanted, and I got there, you know, so it kind of does sort of work.
Now he's traveling for business. Okay, I see.
So now I'm training. So the guy who
training, traveling.
Yeah.
Look
at me. I'm the trainer now, you know. So the MCT, I got the MCT designation during it was during COVID, and I have to sort of say that I probably shouldn't have got the MCT designation at the time. There were two factors that worked in my kind of favor. The first was the fact that they completely waived the application fee, so it meant that anybody who met the requirements could sort of apply and not have to pay a penny or a cent. So that was one factor. And then the second one was that in order to be able to get in at the time, all you required was just a customer reference. So I'd done some training for end customers. I'd asked them to give me sort of a reference from there. And then from there now, that I was then sort of deemed to meet the criteria as it was at the time, in order to become an MCT. Thankfully, they've changed that now. And there's going to be some changes again sort of soon, which might be of interest to anyone who is interested in becoming an MCT, because the way in which you do it will become a bit more streamlined. And also those who were an MCT in the past sort of 3 years and maybe have lost it, there's now an easier route for you to get back in to the program as well. So I'll share a link in the sort of session notes here for a bit more details on that sort of post, and there'll be more news on that in the next sort of few weeks or so. So the hope is that once that sort of happens, then we'll be able to then sort of talk about that in a bit more detail.
Yeah, I think that could be super interesting for a lot of people, just to like understand what is coming with that kind of MCP title. What is the prerequisite for that? What you need to do? What is expected? Is that something people may like to enjoy or not? Could be as well. So that this is something people, I could imagine that like people, oh yeah, I want to be a trainer, because that's maybe as well a new career path as well, another path to like skill yourself up into this like expert role for a certain topic you have in mind. But like, how is this going? Like, do you get then just trainings assigned, or what is happening behind closed doors, if you're allowed to talk about this, of course?
Yeah, it have to be. Some of it is covered by NDA. You have to be sort of careful, but it's a mixture of sort of opportunities. I'll reach out people from training providers, from other organisations. They'll sort of ask for my sort of services as a subject matter expert. Their words, not mine. You know, so
or is it the words of Copilot?
Who knows these days? You know, what can you believe these days? You know, truly, you know, this is the world we're living. But yes, I'd like to think that having been an MCT for about 6 years now, hopefully I'm at least competent. Yeah, so the MCT program does offer a lot of benefits, potentially for those who are interested. I think as well, in terms of I think there's also going to be a real demand for these kind of training skills, because at the end of the day, people still need to know about the fundamentals. They still need to know in terms of, okay, how a certain technology works, need to know in terms of what Dataverse can and can't do. You know, prompting and, you know, working with these AI models can get us a lot of the way forward. But if we don't know what we're asking for, we don't know what a technology can support, then we're going to find ourselves in pretty hot water quite quickly. So I hope that there's a place for MCTs in the future. So I would very much encourage others to look at it as well.
Yeah, I think this could be quite interesting. What also is interesting, I think, is something we discovered recently around Copilot. Because, like, as you know, there's a new model in the market and everyone goes crazy for that. But so far, the experiences with GPT 5.5 were like not where we expect them to be, right? So at least for me, so at least when I like to tell, or I'm allowed to tell about it, say I had pretty a lot of like disconnects basically with GPT-5 in Copilot or GPT 5.5 in Copilot, and really had issues with it. Like the answers were not that good, and really just like got back to a lower model. Did you had the same experience? Because you're also using the pro model, right? So you're paying actually for a subscription.
Yeah, well, I mean, we did have some fun with it. I think maybe the more eagle-eyed of our followers on Instagram would have noticed a few cheeky little GPT 5.5 generated images on there recently.
Yeah, the images are great, yeah, but like overall the answers, I have the feeling it's like not serving the hype at the moment.
Yeah, so I think it's sort of some of the image generation stuff looks kind of sort of interesting. I think it's always the case whenever these new kind of large language models come onto the sort of the scene, it's sort of like everyone gets really super excited. They all sort of say, "Oh, it's the best thing since sort of sliced bread," all this sort of good stuff. I've been using it a bit for some sort of work stuff and some not so work stuff. The new model on the ChatGPT side, it seems to be pretty good. It's still quite sort of chatty. Can be a bit too sort of chatty sometimes, but seems to do a good job based on the user prompts. And actually, I hadn't been into ChatGPT for kind of a while underneath the hood, so I spent a bit more time sort of looking at some of the more recent things like memories, the personalization features and stuff like that. So it was good to have an opportunity to maybe go a bit deeper into that and just sort of see in terms of okay, what's actually happening underneath the hood here a bit more. But I think you tried GPT 5.5 with Copilot on the work tenant, and you had some interesting experiences.
Yeah, it's so as I mentioned, it kind of broke up. So in like I don't know, 3 out of 5 cases, just lost connection or lost the context in most of the cases. It was like really not giving me results I could work with. And then as well with the new consumption costs, for example, in GitHub Copilot, for example, and as well like more changes in that direction. I really see like that this is like not just always the best way to just jump on the latest model and call out the older ones. And also for some demos recently, and as well for some products, we're actually using still using GPT-5 4.1 even like that. So it's a very much old and like rusty model if you want to compare it to like what is possible today. But with the European enforcement or the European data boundaries that we anyways sticking with the GPT models, sometimes like the model where you know what to expect from, and the one which you can handle the best is maybe as well the best model for you to work with, because you can rely on that and you always get like the same kind of answers, which is pretty interesting to see this kind of learning curve from like jumping to the latest model in a second and just forget about like all of the other models that were like yesterday because they're all shit now. And everything
Yeah,
that's new is like this is the best one and everyone else cannot keep up with that. That's pretty interesting to see like how quick people are just jumping on new stuff without like proper testing or evaluations. So that's pretty interesting to see, and as well for us in a lot of cases not the best choice actually.
yeah, no two models are the same. This is the conclusion I've come to. But I mean, it's going to be interesting. You've seen quite a few changes on the GitHub Copilot side in terms of some of the now moving to a more consumption-based sort of model, now becoming arguably a bit more expensive, particularly for some of the nicer models, the Claudes of the world, stuff like that. So I just wonder whether, okay, we have different sort of large, people just go to these different large language models for different sort of needs, so sort of our, really super rich and super cool kind of developers go to Claude, which is like their Ferrari or their Porsches, and whereas the rest of us are stuck with our Toyota or Skoda sort of, GPT, ChatGPT, OpenAI.
You're Skoda or GPT.
Hey, Skodas are really good. Skodas are really good.
Yeah, of course they're really good. So it's like, what are you like playing it down? Like, okay, you can use it, but why should you?
It does its job. Yeah, Skoda's basically just an Audi, but with, in terms of their, rich history of that sort of stuff. So there's nothing wrong with a Skoda. But if you've got a bit more money,
there's nothing wrong. No.
Yeah,
it's just like that you play it down like, okay, this is not a car I want to be seeing driving around Germany.
You don't want to be seen driving an Octavia around Germany?
You gave me this impression that this is happening to you. This is
no, we're a Skoda friendly zone here. We're always
Skoda friendly zone. Of course we are. Yeah, but this was not only the GitHub related GitHub Copilot related licensing changes. So from 1st of June, they will change to a consumption based model, and as well pump up the I always forget this word, the factor on these models. So I think currently GPT 5.5 and Opus are on a factor 7 or something, 7.5. And with the new model, they will jump to a factor like 27, which is definitely something which you will see in your cost increase for tokens and credits and whatever they want to call it next week. So this is pretty interesting.
But it's going to be interesting. I think I shared an image with you over the weekend, I think, as a bit of a sort of a joke, but we're going to be now going through this kind of cycle. Okay, AI's become too expensive. You walk into the board, right? Board members, I've got this brilliant idea. Okay, we're going to stop using these large language models. We're going to hire junior developers. And everyone's just like, bravo. Best idea.
Going to happen somewhere for sure.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how things twist and turn around all of this. The cost factor is definitely starting to bite a bit more. So we're going to have to make some investments here in order to get the good functionality, particularly as well if we're wanting to manage all of these agents in the wild, which now with the new Agent 365 and E7 is a hot topic, isn't it, Sebastian?
Yes, so there's also some more news on the licensing side. Unresolved dependencies, still licensing podcast.
Yeah,
not going to happen, but still. Actually, I'm answering so many licensing questions lately. So there's really a lot, and I feel like I built up some confidence on that, which is usually not the case in like working 12 years with Microsoft licensing. But yeah, there's a new license.
You don't want to be known as the licensing guy. That's not a reputation.
No, because in all of these trick questions, kind of like, I have this and okay, and this and that, and it's like awful. Yeah. So as I mentioned, there's a new license, E7. So a Microsoft 365 E7 license. Basically, I think they called it like the Frontier Suite. So all of this Frontier program is like everything that's new and like you can opt in for all the new fancy stuff. But actually, the E7 license, the new on top of E5, I think was the one before, or is it still the lower one? Adds adds of course the M365 Copilot license. You get everything that's in there in E5. So all of that Microsoft 365 security, identity, compliance, enterprise, create productivity, which is I think Office and stuff like that. All of that. Then you have the Entra Suite. So all of this identity and network access control and all of that. And what's new now, you get as well Agent 365. And that's basically your control panel. Yeah, it's your control area for governing, observing, and securing all the AI agents in your organization. Sits in the Mac, so Microsoft Admin Center, not in the Power Platform Admin Center, where you, for example, have features like the inventory, but basically sits on the Microsoft side of the administration, and basically gives you visibility into the agency environment, how they're used, basically what they're using, any risks or something like that. You can as well establish guardrails for agents and people working on these agents, and as well you can secure the agents' identities, because every one of them gets like a Entra ID entrance, and basically you can track what is happening there. So you can prevent data oversharing, leaks, all of this nasty stuff you don't want to deal with. And I think this is now since GA since the 1st of May, which is a public holiday in my place, but never mind. And I think it starts at $99 per user per month. So it basically adds with this Agent 365. And I do have an opinion on that, to be honest. It's not very often that I have like a harsh opinion on things, but why do I need to pay extra for Agents 365 when I want to control agents? And especially agents from third-party providers, like you can, for example, bring in agents from AWS, for example. So especially for companies who are willing to use the Power Platform and using Microsoft and administrating everything in their space, but still have maybe some other environments or other tools they're using today, they need to pay extra just to have access to this governance and to have like this insights, which I would wish this is just like part of the M365 Copilot license. But maybe I'm just too dreamful of wishes to think, yeah, that it should make sense. If I buy a license, you also buy the governance and security and the admin access to it. But now I apparently need to pay this as well extra.
But I guess to maybe play devil's advocate and defend a bit here, simplicity from a SKU standpoint, I think is really important, because we just get lost in all of these licensing conversations, having to buy
That for
not
sure.
only E3 but Copilot on top. So having a consolidated SKU where we have an opportunity to save a bit of money is always going to be quite good as well. I think as well, when we look at maybe the value that the Microsoft offering is able to sort of provide as well, security and the governance is always kind of a top talking point, so why wouldn't you want to monetize that? We've kind of seen that already on the Power Platform side, the requirement for, licensed users to be able to work with managed environments. This is, I guess, the value that the Microsoft solution could sort of bring, and particularly for bigger enterprises, I guess the theory is, okay, well, if they're interested, then they're going to pay for it, and, I think when it comes to the Agent 365 stuff, the roadmap there, I think, is going to look particularly nice, potentially acting as a really good way of allowing us to control these different multi-vendor agents that are built together, and to, make sure we've basically got a rein on all of that. So.
Yeah, but still, you want to know what happens in your organization when you're using AI. I think this is like main part of it. I mean, yeah, of course, earning money as a partner and as Microsoft side, but still, I want to see that be like out of the box. I just can see what happens. I don't need to pay for administrative access to your Power Platform Admin Center, do I? I just can do this with regular licensing and access control.
I mean, in a way, you can still get that visibility, because at the end of the day, all the agents that you create, at least on your own tenant, are going to be in there and Entra ID. So there's nothing stopping you from creating your own sort of, it's that classic, I guess, build versus buy type of mentality. And I guess as well, the additional benefit that Agent 365 gives is that, the agents built elsewhere as well, having that nice layer around all of that. That's a nice squeaky toy noise. I like that.
Yeah. I just thought if we can hear this, but yeah, my dog is literally playing around with the ball, and I think he found it right now. And
yeah, it's not Sebastian playing with the toy.
It's not me. It's not. I wish I had their life, because they have the best life ever. And yeah, they're with me in this special episode. So one is chewing on a bone, and the other one is playing with her squishy toy. So they have a good time. And I think we also had a good time for the last half an hour. It was good seeing you. You wanted to add something? I'm desperate to hear any more comments from your side about squishy toys?
I was just going to say, just we don't want rumors starting that as soon as Agent 365 starts, then you need to start chewing on those toys for comfort. That's not good.
No. Use something else for that. Exactly. You can stay with your regular licensing comfort toy. And can you please? No, he doesn't want to stop. So it's actually him playing with it. So
yeah.
There's
we'll keep this in, or we'll try and reduce the noise on a little bit. Post-production magic is always amazing.
No. We want to have the same experience. No, he's gone. Sorry. Yeah, I catched him, and now the toy's gone. Sorry. That he can go back to his toy. I think we closing this kind of episode for today. Thank you so much, Joe, for the insights about the MCT, as well on your opinions about ChatGPT 5.5, and as well the Agents 365 license and E7 license. So I think a very packed session. Just for the sake of the last moments, anything to add from your side?
I just hope the weather improves here in Cologne. It's got a bit rainy now.
I think it starts raining in Germany the next days, because I had some workers here today finish up some outside work, and they literally wanted to continue next week with some indoor work, but then they now switched this to tomorrow because apparently it's announced that it will rain. And I think it's heavily needed here, because I don't know when last time I saw rain. It must be weeks or months even.
It has been a very sunny couple of days, so hopefully a bit of rain to rehydrate things, then back to some nice schon Wetter in Deutschland.
See? So it's not like the UK that it's always rain, but not always nice weather as well.
Exactly. So leave it there. Rain for good weather. So good to chat as always. Hope you found this podcast useful, and we'll see you at the next one.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever you want and need to do to make this thing growing. We need to finance Joy's first-class tickets to go around the world to see you in person at various community events. So somehow this needs to be funded. This is why we actually designed this podcast to make this happen. So yeah, tell your friends, tell your coworkers that this is a thing, and then with that, see you in 2 weeks, because this is our schedule. Every 2 weeks on a Monday, new episode of Unresolved Dependencies with Joey and me.
Take care.
See you. Take care. Bye-bye.